Today I'm in the historic Borders town, a beautiful town, the town of Peebles. This is the River Tweed behind me, one of my favourite rivers. But why am I here today? I'm here to investigate the famous and infamous historic clash between Robert the Bruce and John the Red Comyn. The year, August 1299, 1 year after the historic Battle of Falkirk. This mound is all that remains of what was once Peebles Castle. The area has been filled by the parish church, which is it takes up most of the ground here. But this is where the castle stood. It was demolished sometime in the 14th century. And this is very possible that it was the meeting place where that fateful council met and where Bruce and Comyn had their famous encounter together. But this is the site of Peebles Castle, which is no longer, we can only suppose at what it looked like, but it meets here at the confluence of the Eddleston and the River Tweed, which you can see just beyond me there. This is the parish church standing on the site, but everything you see before you, anything that was Peebles Castle, is beneath all this. So what size the castle actually was, we know it was garrisoned by English soldiers, and very possibly this is where the councils met. Bishop Lamberton's manor in Stobo is just a short distance away. It's such a shame that a mound is all that is left, but when you're researching medieval history, you'll find that is very often the case. There are some marvellous examples of medieval castles in the country, but we know Bruce's policy was to destroy castles. We don't know if he destroyed this one, but this is all that remains of Peebles Castle. The year is 1299, August 1299. And this is the Cross Kirk in Peebles. Now, what does this have to do with Robert the Bruce? We've looked at the location of Peebles Castle. where it was before it was demolished sometime in the 14th century. Where did that meeting take place? It's also very possible that it took place here at the Cross Kirk in Peebles. This has been here since 1241. Now, apart from Robert the Bruce, John Comyn, Bishop Lamberton, Walter Stewart, and other nobles at this council, unbeknownst to them, there was also an English spy. And what he reported back was that it was a heated affair. Amongst the Comyn faction, Sir David Graham, he put forward a challenge that because William Wallace and a group of knights was planning to go to France and seek an audience with King Philip IV without permission, that his lands should be given up, his property should be handed over. Now, what is even more intriguing is that among those present was Malcolm Wallace, brother to William Wallace. William Wallace had two brothers, Malcolm and John. Malcolm Wallace challenged that, and it became so heated that daggers were drawn. If that wasn't enough, what became even more heated was an argument between Robert the Bruce and John Comyn. And John Comyn, it was said, leapt at Bruce and seized him by the throat. Uncle John Comyn, his cousin, also challenged Lamberton. Now, whether that was physical or not, we don't know. But here's the really intriguing part of it all. Malcolm Wallace was not with the Comyn Balliol faction, which William Wallace fought for. He fought for the Balliol cause. He was with Robert the Bruce. What's interesting, later on, in successive years, John Wallace, in 1306, would be executed 1 year after his famous brother William for his part in Bruce's rebellion. It's just very possible that it happened in this room, the Cross Kirk in Peebles. The bad blood between them. Bruce left this place, not a calm and peaceful man, and neither did John Comyn. If there was bad blood before then, there was certainly bad blood now. And to think that it may have happened in here, it's very possible, just blows my mind that you can actually be possibly standing in the area where Comyn and Bruce really challenged each other. Now we know where this rivalry went. We know how it ended up. It ended up with Bruce murdering Comyn in Dumfries, but bad blood was already boiling. It even boiled to such a level that a year later, 1300, at a council in Rutherglen, Comyn refused to work with Bishop William Lamberton anymore. He washed his hands of him, and he even accused him of treason, of him and Robert the Bruce plotting together because they were so tight. And we know that Lamberton, openly or secretly, supported the Bruce quest for the throne. We know that such a rivalry between Bruce and Comyn was destined not to last, and it didn't last long. Bruce later resigned the guardianship. He was replaced by Ingram de Umfraville, and the balance of power slowly shifted back again into Comyn favour. It would take drastic measures then by Robert the Bruce to turn the tables on that relationship, and also turn the tables on the quest for power and the quest for kingship in who would rule the Scots. I would love to have been a fly in the wall at that very historic meeting. What's really intriguing to me though, what's absolutely mind-blowing, is the differences in the Wallace family through all of this. Alan Wallace, William Wallace's father, John, William and Malcolm. His father was on, his signature was on the Ragman roll, where he swore fealty to Edward I. Malcolm and John Wallace were on the Bruce side. They were not pro-Balliol. William Wallace was pro-Balliol, and that's the big difference between them all. In what state of mind John Comyn and Robert Bruce left that fateful meeting in Peebles, because it was a fateful meeting. It would set the bar for what would happen between them before. And because the balance of power slowly shifted again into the Comyn favour, Bruce was running out of options of what he was able to do. But finally, he would murder his rival. He would make his bid for the throne. He would have himself crowned. And ultimately, through all his struggles, he would become the most successful military leader and king in the history of Scotland.